All right. So anyway, so as I was saying, the seductive pull of social norms on page 115, just that chapter 9 was super intriguing to me. And I just had lots of ahas. And just especially because of, I believe, like what we do, network marketing, um, like you can name so many different things. I mean, I think we all could, and you could look at, you know, I could list at least 10 different things that I know that I've been challenged in because of challenging social norms and trying to think for myself. Like even just reading that study that they did with the a number two imitating the many. I mean, who just I've heard that before. I've watched that, or I've read this somewhere before, but I just like cringed. I'm like, no, don't choose the line. Don't choose the wrong line. Just speak up, but you wonder, like, what would you do in those situations? How many times have we been in those situations where we were surrounded by people that were all talking about the same thing? And what did you choose? Did you choose to participate in the conversation, whether it was whatever it was, or would you choose to stand up for what you believe in? I mean, there's so many different situations. And then I love too that, we look at imitating the powerful, and some of that too is like, some of that I was like being a little defensive, and I just thought, humans everywhere pursue power, prestige, and status. We want pins and medallions on our jackets. We want president or partner in our titles, just that whole first chapter. And I was like, wait a second. And I got a little defensive at first, but I thought, we do look up to people that are successful. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, and we talk too a lot about us and how we add value, and we talk about how important it is to add value to people, and those are good things. We want people to follow us, and that we have something here that is important and good, and we want to give people positivity and encouragement and bring light to people's lives. And so I had to, for a little bit, I was like, you got to be careful what kind of power, prestige, and status, and you have to make sure you don't raise people up to be on a pedestal. And like, for me, the Lord is number one. That is absolute, no questions asked. But we look to those people for advice and success advice, and what are they doing that's working? Well, that's something that I know that I can do. I mean, we do that in Plexus all the time. We look to the teams that are being successful, and what are they doing? What kind of systems are they using? Well, we want to do that. And, or what was successful for us when we had momentum? What are the things that we were doing? Okay, well, let's do that. So yeah, I loved that chapter. I just thought that hit home so huge into what we do here, but then also really you need to think about what you do. And I think it really helps that, I hope, for those of you who maybe struggle with standing out and making decisions that are, kind of a party of one. I hope that kind of gave you a little bit of insight into how that works. Yeah, I just love that. I thought that was super, super powerful. And then of course, chapter 10 was really amazing too. Just so intriguing. Really made me think about my own things. Some of the examples even that he gave are really good. I'm not a smoker. That's not what I'm referring to, but I'm just saying there's different things in there. The stuff that he talked about, especially with like the social media stuff and some of the habit things. Like there's just some things that I think our world is stuck in now, that was really powerful, that you can really think, okay, what am I doing and where did this come from and what can I do to change it? So I just thought that was really good. I don't want to, okay, it's 8:40. I really don't want to take much more. These are really short chapters. And I thought they were both so applicable to the things that we do. And obviously I didn't write a bunch of notes down. And my favorite part about book club, you guys, is you guys sharing. So I would really love for everybody here to share thoughts and notes that you guys wrote, things that you highlighted and were struck by. So I'm opening up the floor.
So in the beginning of this chapter, when it talks about we don't choose our earliest habits, we imitate them. I have kind of known that, but I didn't really hit it to me until I had a child. And when we go out places and she says something that I have said, and it doesn't really make sense when she says it, but she has heard me say it. So she thinks, well, I have to say it since mom has said it. And like my dad has said, like my daughter is starting to act just like me. She's got my same mannerisms. She's doing what I'm doing, which has also made me check what I do. Cause, as my husband has totally learned that we have to watch what we say because they repeat everything. And so like, that was like something that I kind of knew, but having children, that really puts it where it is. But then in chapter 10, on 128, your current habits are not necessarily the best way to solve problems you face. They are just the methods you learned to use. Once you associate the solution with the problem you need to solve, you keep coming back to it. So it goes to like what we've seen and what we've done we think that always works, but having to like change, because it's not like I don't smoke either, but the cigarette, like I used to work in a nursing home. So when people would get stressed, they'd go have a smoke break. When I would get stressed, I would have a Dr. Pepper. And I've had to change that going through, because I know every time I get stressed, if I have a Dr. Pepper, it's not going to be the greatest for my health. So I've turned to different things where I've done breathing exercises, but having to change your thinking is, flipping the script. That's something that I have definitely had to do, because my brain is not a very nice place to me sometimes. So flipping the script and having to change my habits to go with it is also the struggle with it, but it also is good because it's more of you're working on yourself with it too.
I don't know, can you guys hear me okay? I got my earbuds in, but on page 121, I highlighted this part because it really stuck out to me. It says a person with greater power and status has access to more resources, worries less about survival, and proves to be a more attractive mate. And I immediately thought to myself, think about all the multimillionaires in the world and stuff like that. Like, we sometimes put ourselves up to the par right where they are, and we have to remember right where we're at. And we have to be thankful and grateful for whatever we do have right now. Thank every single one of those customers you have, because you would not be where you are today without them. And I kind of have to remind myself of that sometimes, like, we can get there if we have the right mindset and the tools, but not to look down on the people that, are making, like you diamonds, that is super inspiring. And I think I'm like, we're going to get there someday, heck or high water, and not to look down on them, but just to admire them for that, because it took a lot of integrity and grit to get there. And I just love what they said. Yeah. And then he said, once we fit in, we start looking for ways to stand out. And I was like, each one of us has so many good qualities to share with every single person that we connect with, whatever the reason may be. So just find your reason to connect with them and find reasons for them to stand out, compliment them, because you never know, they could be your next runner too.
Well, I'll chip in about this. What will others think? On page 122, we are continually wondering what will others think, and that's been my. I don't know. I always worried about what other people thought, and altering our behavior. Sometimes we would alter our behavior, and we wouldn't be we wouldn't be true to our character and our integrity because we're worrying about what people think. And so that has, I've grown in that respect. But I think there are times when we do have to be concerned about what others think. I mean, there are, we have to be careful, but we have to be careful who those others are, I think. So here we are, so you guys, I can be concerned about what you think, because when we talk about who we're surrounding ourselves with, it's very important about who we surround ourselves with. Well, the ones that we surround, the people that we care about, I think we do have to worry a little bit about what they think. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? And of course, I'll just, so the other question was, are they people who care about us, love us, want us to do all things for God's glory? Are they people who care about our success? That's the people that I care about what they think.
Yes, Jer, that's really good. That's what I was going to say. And what Shelley said too, is you have to really take into stock who it is that you're placing value in of their opinion. You really have to think about, are these people that add value to my life? Is it a positive thing? Do they encourage me? Do they lift me up? Are they rooted in the Lord? Are they this? Yep. Consider the source big time for sure. And yeah, because it is, we do need to think about what others think. And it is good to have, a tribe to bounce things off of, and to, that's why I'm so thankful for what we have here. Because, this is that, I don't know, what does he say? I cannot think of what it said, but humans are herd animals. Y'all are my herd. I just thought that was so funny, but I'm like, it's really, we want to fit in, to bond with others, and to earn the respect and approval of our peers. Such inclinations are essential to our survival. I mean, we do really want to be a part of something bigger, big and positive and good. And sometimes people get stuck in, the wrong herd, I guess. So that's so funny. I love that you moved there, Shelley. That's the best. So, but it is true. And I've had this conversation with family members many times. One in particular who's been working very, very hard, and it's taken many years for her to see it and to actually value herself enough to realize that some of her friendships are toxic. And I have had to tell her time and time and time again, and I've just loved her and built her up, and she does not have great friends. They're convenient, great friends. And she made some choices to do good things. And the other day she sent me a message, and I just started to cry, because it's taken a long time for her to put enough value in herself to move forward from some of these people. But she did something really good for herself, and she has gotten herself out of a tough financial situation by working her butt off. And she was being made fun of by a lot of her friends, and lost some of them because she had to say no to things, because she was working a second job, a side gig, not Plexus. Unfortunately, I've tried. But we always say anyone can do this, but not everyone will. And it is true. But anyways, maybe someday. But she had to say no a lot. And those friends were not, they made fun of her, like legit made fun of her to her face. And we had lots of conversations about that. And I just had to be like, honey, I don't know why you're friends with these people. I would like straight up tell her that all the time. I'm like, why are these people your friend? You need some new friends. I said that phrase. I can't tell you how many times I've said that phrase in the last 5 to 10 years. And she's finally getting it. And just realizing I don't need people like that. And I want better people, And so you really do have to think about who you're surrounding yourself with, and Yeah. And I know we all have different pockets of friends, and I'm sure you can think of those people and people who you are so glad that they're part of your circle, because you can go to them anytime, you all are part of my circle. I'm so grateful that we have each other, but think about those different pockets of friends, yeah. And so we want to value them, right? We want to put stock into the things that those friends say. You do have to be choosy about who you allow to give you input and put your concern in, I guess. Sorry, that was a really long share, but
I think that's a really great point too, though, Chris, to bounce back on that, because even with just like connecting with people, when you're going to eventually mention Plexus, just building that relationship authentically, I have found that more people need this community than what we know.
mhm,
Because there are a lot of people that don't legitimately have friends, like a lot of us, even farm wives, we are lonely a lot of the time in harvest season and in all seasons. And I have found that this community has pulled me out of more things than I can count.
mm,
Just lifting each other up and praying for one another, like that moves enough mountains for me. So it has to for somebody else.
amen. I didn't know I needed it.
Awesome. Like, we talk about like joining the culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior, and surrounding yourself with people who have the habits you want to have yourself, and then you'll rise together. Another side of that is, as you grow your teams, you're responsible for laying down what your own team culture is going to be
Mhm.
and what that looks like, and laying down what the normal behavior is expected to be, and being just proactive about that, being clear about what that needs to look like. Because to some people that come in, it might be new to them. I mean, a new way of thinking, a new way of operating, and so just being really intentional with that, and forthcoming with that, and being like, this is what we stand for, this is what we're about, this is where we're rooted in, this is what our culture consists of, and it's a good thing, but we keep it that good thing, and that'll continue to just attract more people who are open to being a part of that really healthy, good rise together culture, because you're all really united in that. When you're clear cut in what or when you're really clear and focused on what you stand for and where your values lie and all those things, it's easy to link those arms and rise together. But if you've got one person who's over here with their mindset and another person's down here with their mindset or how they operate or behave, it's really hard to link arms when you're going like this and rise together. So yeah, that's one thing that stuck out to me in that chapter.
Going off of that, on page 118, and I sent this to the team today, it says the shared identity begins to reinforce your personal identity. This is why remaining part of a group after achieving a goal is crucial to maintaining your habits. It's friendship and community that embed a new identity and help behaviors last over the long run. That really stuck out to me. And after Chris, what you said, and Shelley, what you said, I used to have friends of convenience. It was the people that we just happened to be around. And I thought that was completely normal. And it wasn't until Plexus that I started questioning that and like realizing there's more to life than just these shallow, convenient friendships that turned out to not be true friendships. Moving was hugely eye-opening for us to see like who your real friends are, who's still going to keep in contact with you even 20 hours away. And having this community to fall back on has been so empowering and really making me realize like what I want my identity to be. It felt like we were just kind of going through life haphazardly, like whatever happens to us. And now it's changed things, not only for me, but for my kids and for my husband. And like, it's changed our trajectory in life. And I can put it all back to this community going like you guys are pushing me, and my team is encouraging me and adding value and like making me realize that I have value to add, which is something I never had before. So goodness gracious, this and pregnancy hormones are something. So love you guys.
Thanks for sharing, Kaylee. So I just love how we can pull nuggets out of these chapters and apply them to our business in so many different ways. And I think just to encourage you guys when you're going through book club books and chapters to really just always try to pick out what you can apply to your business through this, and not just say, oh, that's something that I could work on, but actually do it and take action and do it. So just going through the chapters, I'm like, yeah, this is so good, but what are we going to do about it? Right? Like the action steps. We can say we're going to change, but are we going to change? Are we really going to go through with it? Right? And so on 131, I loved the have to versus get to. And I think that's something that we can all focus on, shifting our brains to not wake up in the morning and say, I have to get my IPA done. Right? Or I have to read my book club book, or I have to get on team call tonight. And that simple word, one word, and just changing it to get to, I get to do my IPA. I get to get on team call tonight. I get to read my book club chapter. How that would just totally flip our mind in just taking action and wanting to do it, and how that would change our business. And even, Shelly talked about in a video on the team page she posted last week. I just watched it today, but, reaching out to people and potentials, and in the tone you have behind your voice, and if you're excited or not, they can tell. That's something that, you have to think about and make it a habit, because some days, let's face it, we're all ladies and we're all, going through the hormone stuff, and we aren't always in a great mood. And so, when we send out those messages, sometimes it can come through. And so, this whole book is about habits, right? And so a habit that we say all the time, and I'm speaking to myself, you guys, I say have to all the time. And I want to start saying I get to all the time, because I really get to do it. This is a privilege. This is a beautiful, wonderful opportunity from the Lord. I get to do this. So anyway, that was my favorite part out of the whole 2 chapters.
I can definitely agree to that. In fact, this is just something very short, but when I'm leaving for work in the morning, I just live here with my cat and dog, and I always tell Murphy, my dog, I'm like, Murphy, I have to go to work. And then I change it and I'm like, I get to go to work, Murphy. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, but I love that part also.
Yeah, I thought that for that chapter 10, I mean, this whole thing definitely applies. But I thought for that part about changing your thinking, how you can make hard habits more attractive if you can learn to associate them with positive experience. And it's just, we've talked about that with other things too. I don't know where, maybe it was a previous chapter, like, you just and I have to do this I get to, no, but this is something I have to do better at. I will say that, but that's me too. So I can get so distracted by other things that sometimes things gets put on the back burner. Stuff definitely is on my calendar, like my coaching calls and book club and team call and whatever else. But then I have to schedule in my IPA, and I need to stick to that, and if it's hard or whatever one day, or, like Sal talked about getting the no's, if you're in that place where you're struggling because you get a lot of no's and you haven't gotten yeses, or, and you start to turn your mind, you have to continue to stay in that place of, no, this is what I meant to do. This is what I get to do. and I'm going to keep doing it. And because I know there's going to be reward in the end, because when I have the no's, I'm going to get the yeses. And that's why I keep going. You know, I'm going to get the no's and then I'm going to get the yeses. And those are going to be people who are going to have huge victories. And so those are the things that we need to do to make it more attractive. If that's something that you're struggling with, that's just another piece that popped in my head when I read that section too.
To piggyback off of, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, a little choppy,
No.
but that's okay. Keep talking.
Okay, well, I'm in Utah, so I don't know. It could be my computer. Are you good or do you want me to change? Can you hear me? No.
Yes. Yeah.
Dang it. Yes, you can hear me? Okay. Okay, so piggyback off of what Sal said with the get to have to, and it's not just with that, like I've got a few things here, but it says you can transition from seeing those behaviors as burdens and turn them into opportunities. So it's not just the have to get to, but it's all of your thoughts on everything you do. It's your mind, not just things you have to do, but your thoughts on things that come up, the good things and the bad things, the yeses and the nos. And because it says, like, the next paragraph down on 131, we can find evidence for whatever mindset we choose. Your brain wants to prove you know, to protect you, and they want to prove you're right. So if you're saying, I have to do this, it's going to find ways to make you think you have to do it. And then that goes into the reframing your habits to highlight the benefits rather than the drawbacks. So like when those negative things come up, thinking, okay, how can this thing be the best thing for me right now? Like, how can this make, you know, how else can you look at this that's going on and it actually be helping you? And then, sorry, all on to page 132. It says you can reframe it. So like a thought, like I'm nervous, to I'm excited and I'm getting an adrenaline rush to help me concentrate when that person was going to go on stage. So that's how you can be like, okay, how is this a good thing for me when you're scared or nervous? Like, well, this is going to get me through because I'm concentrating. So these little mindset shifts aren't magic, but they can help you change your feelings, which then will affect your actions, which then will affect your results and what you get out of it. Hopefully you guys caught that.
That was so good, Jana. And I know that's something that you've worked really hard on yourself, because that's something I know, and probably a lot more than just Jana here has worked on that for sure. But I know she herself has a story to share about that and how she's worked on that. And that's part of the reason why she's in Utah right now. So maybe she's going to have to do a team call with me sometime to talk about some of those things. That'd be really good, because she's worked really, really hard very recently, but even just over the last, you know, probably couple years. And so that's awesome. Such good points, Jana. I love it. So good. Well, it's 9:04. That goes really fast. Ooh, somebody unmuted. Go ahead.
Well, I just was going to talk about that part where on page 127 to 129, where cravings come from. And then it talks in the middle of 129, these predictions lead to feelings. And then the end of that paragraph, when you predict that you would be better off in a different state, you take action. And that, I think, applied a lot to our business. So I think that talks a lot about our why, or we can apply that to our why hugely. You know, if we want to be in a better state, what are we going to do about it? We have to take action. Take action. Action cures a lot. So I thought that was very, very good. The gap between your current state and your desired state provides a reason to act. That's the end of the next, that about the last sentence in 129.
So, so good. So make sure you act, everybody. Right? What are you going to do about it? Where do you want to be? That was so good. Great thoughts, Jer. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, I guess since we kind of started at 8:34, we're probably at our half-hour mark. But if nobody has anything extra to add, then we can sign off for the night. Thanks, you guys, for jumping on and sharing your thoughts. Love book club night. And thanks for the grace too. Always you all sat there waiting for the meeting to start. All right, we'll see you guys later. Have a good night, everybody.